Hello, my name is Dan, and I'm here today in my patchwork greenhouse to attempt an emergency transplant on this rather unfortunate tomato plant that is beginning to succumb to the freezing temperatures outside. Apparently I failed to install a proper barrier from the outside earth to this inside earth, and the soil is beginning to freeze. And tomato plants don't care for that much. So I'm going to pull this out of the ground and place it in this 2-gallon pot, which will be hopefully sufficient to at least see if it's going to survive, and then if it does, I will move it to a larger pot so we can hopefully continue to produce tomatoes well into spring. As you can see, there are ripe tomatoes on here. It is the middle of December, the early part of December 2013, and all the tomatoes outside obviously are completely gone. I mean, they just deteriorated into nothing. So this was, pretty remarkable. This greenhouse was built out of mostly repurposed materials, old sliding glass doors, and junk, basically, what most people would consider junk. So anyway, we'll see how this works. Loosen up the soil. This is actually one plant. This plant got larger than any of the tomatoes I had outside, simply because it's got a better start, early start. And all was allowed to grow beyond what the other ones could grow. Okay, that looks pretty loose. Go ahead. There we go. That's good. Okay, I've actually got a second plant that doesn't look too hot. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can loosen that one up, just in case. If it looks alright, I might go ahead and transplant that as well. But this is actually a, I don't know if you can see this or not, this plant is actually just a sucker, or rather it was a trimming from this plant that I placed in water, and then when it rooted I put it in the ground, and there we go. So I guess you'd call that a clone. I'm not sure if that's the proper terminology for tomatoes, but I'm going to guess that any genetic properties this plant would have were passed on to this plant as well, which isn't always a good thing, but it can be. When the genetics are favorable. Okay, that's good. Okay, we're all loose now. Tomatoes are being held up by this repurposed baling twine hung from this old molding here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rotate this around. Lift those out of the ground. There we go. Oh, a lot of weight there. Okay. Just want to get it up. A little higher. A little bit more. Okay, I think that'll work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of this in the bottom here, because there's exposed roots in the bottom of the root ball. I'm going to go ahead and grab the second pot. Do the same with this other one, because it looks like it... Oh, you know what? Let me see here. Yeah. It looks like it might be worth trying to save. Okay. We'll do the same with that. Some soil on the bottom. A little bit more on this one. It doesn't have quite the root ball. Alright. That's pretty good. The soil's kind of cold. Alright. You know what? Take some of that back out. Basically, we're just going to place that right like so. Right below the root ball. Same with this one. Okay. And lower it back down until the right height. Okay. One more. Okay, we're it's one notch above where we were before. Some soil in there around that. And around this one. And the nice thing about tomatoes is that it doesn't matter if you bury it a little too low, because the stalk will actually root, create new roots. Can't do that with all plants, but tomatoes works nicely. In fact, it's advisable that when you plant tomatoes in your garden, you plant them nice and deep. Can't do that with trees because you'll rot the bark off. The tomatoes like that. Works great. And it lots of roots, and then the plant has a nice healthy start. So, well, wish me luck, and wish the tomatoes luck. I'm not looking too happy.